Che Guevara is one of the most divisive historical characters. He represents justice and revolt to some. He is viewed by some as a dangerous revolutionary who caused havoc. However, there is no denying that his life and beliefs altered the path of history. Che Guevara was a person. And why does his legacy continue to spark discussions today? As we reveal the remarkable tale of the guy who created the myth. Stay tuned. From Che Guevara's early years in Argentina to his involvement in the Cuban Revolution, his revolutionary ideology, and his untimely demise in Bolivia, this film will take you on a tour through his life. We'll also look at the controversies that surrounded his legacy and the reasons that his iconic image still serves as a catalyst for global movements. You'll have a better understanding of one of the most intriguing personalities of the 20th century by the end. Che's childhood and early life experiences. On June 14, 1928, Ernesto Guevara de la Serna was born in Rosario, Argentina. He distinguished himself early on, not only for his brilliance, but also for his fortitude. Despite having a persistent asthma diagnosis, he was a standout student and athlete. His intellectual foundation was influenced by his love of literature, especially the writings of Nietzsche, Freud, and Marx. However, it was his experiences in Latin America that changed him. Together with his companion Alberto Granado, Che set out on a 9-month voyage in 1951 on a beaten motorcycle they dubbed La Poderosa, or the Mighty One. He became aware of the continent's crippling poverty and inequality as a result of this tour. He visited a leper colony in Peru, where he treated patients and observed the appalling conditions that the disenfranchised endured. His revolutionary ideology was sown by these encounters. Che felt driven to take action because he couldn't stand by and watch injustice happen. The moment that changed history. Che's life took a dramatic turn in 1955 when he met Fidel Castro in Mexico just after receiving his medical degree. Castro was at the time organizing a campaign to topple Fulgencio Batista, the Cuban tyrant supported by the United States. Inspired by Marxist principles and disillusioned with the shortcomings of Latin American governments, Che joined Castro's organization, the 26th of July movement, right away. For Che, this was a cause that gave his life meaning, rather than merely a political partnership. Their bold plan was to invade Cuba, mobilize the populace, and overthrow Batista's government. Che wasn't only another recruit. He soon rose to prominence and was acknowledged for his unwavering dedication to the cause, tactical skill, and discipline. A small party of 82 revolutionaries, including Che and Fidel, arrived in Cuba on the boat Granma in 1956, marking the start of the revolution. The majority of the group was killed in the first clashes, which caused immediate setbacks to their campaign. However, the survivors withdrew to the highlands of Sierra Maestra, where they engaged Batista's forces in a guerrilla conflict. Che became renowned for his leadership. His forces were loyal to him. He led successful ambushes, and he even treated injured soldiers and civilians. By 1958, Batista had fled the nation after his column was instrumental in the decisive victory at the Battle of Santa Clara. The revolution in Cuba had been successful. A new era began when Fidel Castro's army arrived in Havana in January 1959. However, Che's contribution extended beyond the battlefield. He assumed several responsibilities in the new administration, including administering the National Bank, supervising industrial projects, and supervising land reforms. His face swiftly became a worldwide icon of revolution because to his disheveled beard and distinctive beret. Che's groundbreaking hypothesis. Che was a thinker, in addition to a fighter. His vision of revolutionary change was outlined in his books, especially Guerrilla Warfare and Socialism and Man in Cuba. The FOCO theory, the notion that a small, committed group of revolutionaries may spark large-scale revolutions against repressive regimes, was central to his philosophy. Che felt that military conflict was a moral requirement as much as a strategy. He maintained that the right, and perhaps the obligation of the oppressed, to rebel against their oppressors was theirs. His unyielding approach, however, angered some supporters and drawn criticism from those who favored more slow or nonviolent methods of transformation. Notwithstanding the criticism, Che's theories served as inspiration for revolutions in Latin America, Africa, and even some regions of Asia. His revolutionary plan served as a guideline for anyone attempting to topple autocratic or colonial governments. The last chapter, Che's death and Bolivia. Che had become agitated in Cuba by 1965. He aimed to disseminate the revolution's principles outside of Cuba, since he thought its goal remained unfinished. Che focused on Bolivia following an unsuccessful attempt to aid anti-colonial rebels in the Congo. When he arrived in Bolivia in 1966, his goal was to incite a revolution on the continent. However, the mission was beset from the beginning by the Bolivian military's unrelenting pursuit, the hard weather in the Bolivian mountains, and a lack of local support. Che's little force was surrounded by October 1967. Che was captured following a battle and put to death the next day. His age was 39. "Shoot, coward," were his last words. His reputation as a rebellious martyr for revolution was solidified when he said, "You are only killing a man." Is Che a hero or a villain? Che Guevara's death made him bigger than life. Photographer Alberto Corda shot his famous image, which was later used by artists, activists, and even commercial brands as a universal emblem of resistance. However, his legacy continues to be extremely divisive. Che was viewed by his supporters as a selfless idealist who sacrificed his life for a cause bigger than himself and battled valiantly for the oppressed. He was viewed by his detractors as a brutal revolutionary who used repression and bloodshed. As is frequently the case, the truth lies somewhere in the middle. Che's story still has resonance today. His existence forces us to consider issues of justice, sacrifice, and the cost of change, regardless of whether you view him as a hero, a cautionary tale, or something else entirely. How do you feel about Che Guevara? Do you think of him as a misguided idealist, a revolutionary hero, or something else? Please share your thoughts in the comments section. We'd be interested in hearing them. Please give this video a thumbs up and forward it to other history buffs if you thought this examination of Che Guevara's life was fascinating. For more in-depth explorations of the lives of the most significant people in history, remember to subscribe to our channel. Che Guevara had a life that was characterized by contrasts, sacrifice, and devotion. Whether praised or reviled, his legacy continues to influence discussions about revolution and justice. Thank you for viewing, and see you later.